It's time for EdTech Mondays, brought to you by MasterCard Foundation and CC Hub.
Hello everyone and welcome to the EdTech Mondays Nigeria show. It's another Monday and another time for an insightful conversation into the world of education technology. Last week, we discussed why the blended learning approach is getting so much buzz and so much hype, and how we could effectively track students' engagement and assessment using this approach both on a large scale and on a small scale. Joining me on the show again today to share another insightful perspective to this topic, monitoring and evaluation of the blended learning approach, is Mr. Shebanjo Rotimi Olufemi. He is a man with a passion for excellence who has been in the educational sector for over 17 years. He's currently rounding up his PhD and he is the principal at Alpha Choice Innovative Academy, an international school in Ogun State, Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Shebanjo.
Yeah, the pleasure is all mine. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to see your school implementing the blended learning model. So can you share with us what prompted your decision to even adapt this as, a model for teaching in your school? And what are the specific learning outcomes that you aim to achieve by using this approach for teaching and learning in your school in Ogun State?
Okay, I will just talk about two of them. One, from the word Alpha Choice Innovative Academy. Innovation is our key word. We believe in innovation. It's an international magnet for innovation and invention. So it's a school that believes in producing students who can critically think, who can create, and who can innovate within a collaborative learning environment. So innovation is our word, and that's the main motivation for bringing in blended model into our learning. Then two, the lockdown. The lockdown created a lot of challenges for educational sector in Nigeria. So that was one of the reasons why the school decided to fully go into blended learning. In case there is any distraction or in case there is any issue within the nation, the learners would not suffer anything. And we have been able to do that over the years and it's giving good results.
So I'd like to see, and particularly because you are in the actual school sector working with both learners and their parents, what was the immediate response of parents to a blended learning approach? And I'm asking this because, parents are used to what they are used to. And I would want to, imagine that when you thought of introducing this blended learning approach, you'd have parents or you'd have guardians who would feel it would be more costs consuming for them. They'd have to maybe buy devices, and even for your school, because it means you'd have to equip your classrooms with devices. You'd have to put in internet connectivity and all of this. And I can only imagine what's the resultant effects would be on school fees. So what was the first reaction, or what are some of the reactions you have gotten from parents and guardians of students in your school to this learning approach?
As far as parents, everyone generally really don't like change. We had few parents who gave issues on how I have to get a device, and then they have to buy this, they have to buy that, especially during the lockdown where they learn from the home while the teachers are within the school or in their various abode teaching the students. So it was really difficult. But over the time, many parents bought into the idea because that is the next thing. It's a more of an avenue whereby learners can learn aside the traditional way of face-to-face learning, because these learners, some of them are different kinds of learners. Some of them, they learn with visuals.
Yeah.
Some of them learn with sound.
Yeah.
And blended learning is a way to go it because it incorporates visuals, it incorporates videos and all of that thing. So we know that as a school, it is what we need to stand out. So we just have to make it compulsory, and in the long run, we're able to get parents. Because this blended models brings about flexibility. It brings about flexibility and is able to adapt different kinds of learners. And, it makes the work of a teacher less burdensome. So It's a way to go.
Okay. So when you have effectively captured the interest of both the learners and their guardians and their parents, the next big question would be, how are you able to properly track, the assessment and the engagement? So what's basically monitoring and evaluation? How are you able to track student engagement? How are you able to track their learning? Are there specific tools or platforms that you use to ensure that both the learners and their guardians or parents have all of this information at their fingertips and can use them to make data-driven decisions for their learning and their education?
As a school, of course, feedback is very crucial to be able to know if what we are doing is getting the right results. So as a school, we have different platforms that we use in getting this feedback. For us as a school, we use Microsoft Teams, and also we have an e-portal that is linked to our website. These two platforms, for me as the school head, a general admin on these two platforms, I get to see what teachers teach using those platforms. I get to see student participation in those platforms, assignment posted, whatever is posted on those platforms, I get to see them and what they do. It's just like I'm also in the classroom with them. Also for students, we do polls, we create Microsoft form, survey for them to evaluate what they have learned and for them to evaluate what their teachers are actually doing. And for us as a school, we use the flip blended model, which allows students to have access to resources before the class. In the school, we have what we call a master notes. The master notes is an app that is developed by the school. So when you resume the app for each of the class, you have all the subjects and all the topics for the whole term in that app. So as you are resuming the beginning of the term, you get the master notes. So you have what you need for the whole term ahead of time. So when they come to classroom, it's more of collaboration, it's more of the teacher trying to summarize what they have there and get results with it. So with these two platforms, the Microsoft Teams and the e-portal linked to our website, we are able to track, and even this portal allows teachers to give them quiz. It allows teachers to give them tests. It allows teachers to even run a CBT mini exams for them. And from there, generate results for them. And we can measure student performance. We see their performance on the dashboard. And with that, we can pick it up with both the learners and even the teachers.
I'm really excited about all that you have said, as I said earlier, because there's so much. You have demystified blended learning, and you've demystified monitoring and evaluation for blended learning, because it's something that I know that both parents struggle with, and even some school operators struggle with, trying to figure out what the best platforms. And I like how you haven't even called any outlandish platforms. You mentioned Microsoft Teams, and can you name some other platforms that are easy to use and very accessible?
Well, for us, we have e-portal linked to our website, and there are other sites like the U-Lesson, Tutorial. There are many other platforms that students can learn from using virtual learning.
Okay. So as a pattern shot, what are the best practices you'd like to share with other schools like yours looking to implement or to improve on their blended learning approach?
What I would say is that for every educational institution, they have to be intentional. They have to be intentional about blended learning. And it's not an easy thing. The school or the educational institution will need to provide a good environment, an enabling environment. An enabling environment is going to cost them money. To provide internet access must be in the school. The school must have enough system. The school must have enough system, internet access, and other platforms. So the school owners, school educators, administration must be intentional about blending.
They have to be trained. You have to train your teachers as well.
And also, too, you see, this platform have access for teachers training. For example, Cambridge now, there's a Cambridge support hub for schools who are Cambridge associated like ours, where teachers can learn. Teachers can take courses on class management, courses on safeguarding, courses on resources management. Over the teacher can take courses there, and they can assessment, and also they are given certificate, and that enhances their ability to deliver, because the goal is the learner. So everything we do, I think we should do everything possible to make sure that the learners get the best, because they will be competing globally with other people of the world.
With all you have said, Mr. Shebanjo, I believe that you would have success stories from the implementation of blended learning in your school. So can you please share maybe one or two?
I think for us, it's the ability to get all learners to be able to learn. You know, blended learning allows learners to be active. You know, you need students to be active to get the best out of them. You know, there are some of them who, when they see these videos, it interests them.
What kind of videos are you referring to?
Videos, for example, you are teaching reproduction. They can't see what is inside the human body.
Okay.
But when you show a video on how it looks like, they can't forget it. There are some that listen to podcasts on maybe English language. When they hear it, it sticks to them very well. So blended learning makes learner active and it brings out the best in learners. And also, ability for you to stay anywhere you are and be able to access learners through CBT. This platform gives you an access to assess your
What's
learners.
CBT?
That's computer-based tests.
Okay.
Computer-based tests. It gives you an access to it gives you an opportunity to assess your learners anywhere in the world. So I think it's a huge success because many of educational institutions are going towards that. WAEC is saying they are going CBT. They want to go after JAM. NECO is also saying they are going CBT. So any school that practice blended learning, of course, we do CBT exams in our school. And I think that is be the next thing. If you go about there are many of the institutions, the exams are CBT-based. CIPN, the exams are computer-based. That's the future. So blended learning will help these learners to be active citizens of the nearest future that we want to create.
You're positioning them for. And, you know, if I were to speak about CBT, it's even, you know, takes off a lot of stress for the teachers because you can get your results almost immediately, right?
So it makes teachers work less burdensome.
And so students just know how to manage their expectations and know where to focus their next energy because you see where you didn't perform very well in. And I'm also trying to imagine, you just mentioned podcast. Imagine how cool it would have been if I had to listen to a podcast or maybe reproduction or momentum or something, you know. I just really want to agree with you.
Because for example, now students take lessons on listening and speaking. So they have to listen to something and then interpret what they have
heard over time.
So when they are going out there, they know how to pronounce this word better. Because they listen to
how much time they have spent just
listening to it.
In that space.
I think is the next thing for future leaders to be able to complete globally. And I think it will be good Nigeria implement it.
Thank you for that excellent submission, Mr. Shebanjo.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
And to you, our listeners, would love to hear from you. How sustainable is the blended learning model? Do you think Nigeria's current educational system is ready to take up at scale this blended learning system? Send us an SMS or a WhatsApp message on 0703 165 0809. Would love to hear from you. It was a pleasure to have you, Mr. Shebanjo.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
It's been another amazing time on this week's episode of the EdTech Mondays Nigeria show. I remain your host, Chinyelu Akpa. I look forward to another insightful conversation next week. Until then, same time, same station. It's bye for now.
EdTech Monday is proudly brought to you by MasterCard Foundation and CC Hub.